Hello everyone, happy Friday morning. We're going to do our little Owlets sunset painting today. If you'd like to join along, if you want to watch, great. You can replay it later and go ahead and pause it as needed. I have a friend here that's visiting for the weekend and he's going to be painting along with me, so if you hear any chitter chatter, it's just us talking back and forth. Here's your color palette. I posted earlier in the morning what paint you'll be needing. So it's a medium blue, black, red, yellow, orange, white. And that is going to be our color palette. The brushes that I'll be using today, you can have a 3/4 inch flat or a 1 inch flat. That's this. I've got a 1/2 inch flat. And I've got a number 2 Royal Langnickel detail brush. I have some water here, and I'm going to be using an 8x10. I posted instructions that it can be anywhere from an 8x10, 9x12, 11x14. It won't matter very much. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the back end of our brush handle. I'm going to pick up just a small amount of white and I'm going to mix it into the blue. So my friend Javier, you're going to mix white into your blue. Not a lot, just a tip of the brush. And this is fairly old paint I'm using, so you could get a little bit of skin in there. I probably should not have used it, but I'm trying to use up my stash before I get a new one. And I'll just keep that to the side. I'll just wipe that off. And the first thing that I'm going to do is take a pencil, and if you can see from the prototype here, it's about divided into quarters. You've got the very dark sky up at the top, black with blue, then we gradually go into blue with the white. We make a line in here with white. We start the red and we move it up into the blue. We take the red, move it into the yellow, we get that orange. So we've got the black bottom, the black top, we've got the bright colors in this part, and we've got the blues in this part. So what I want you to do really is just go down here on your canvas and take a pencil and go across just to mark out where that black bottom is going to be. I'm going to do this pretty heavy so that you can see it. That's really the only drawing we'll do to this. Go on, dog here. All right. And we prepared that blue. And I'm going to load my brush up. And I'm going to start putting my blue on. And I'm going to do a crisscross motion, and it's okay if the brush strokes show. And I'm going to move this over to the side more. I think maybe you can see part of it there. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. And I'm going to just go ahead and put this on, and I'm also going to, so that's about 1/4 of the way down on this. Just do some little crisscrosses, and on this painting, so it can be hung as is, no frame, I'll go ahead and go around and do my sides just to where the blue is. Don't go down all around. And we do move kind of quick on this background because it all depends on blending, and we want it to blend from one to the other, so we need to have a wet surface for that. Okay, so I have that wet. Put a little bit more on it to make sure it's wet. Now I'm going to take just a corner of my brush into the black, just like that. Now I'm going to work from the top. I'll go all up here, just bring a little black in at a time. It's hot. Once you get too much in, you can't get it out, so just a little at a time. If you need more, go back and get more. And now, all right, so I have this strip of wet black on top of my blue. I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to not use water. I'm just going to rub off that black. I still have a dirty brush. I just don't have an abundance of black on it. Now I'm going to just feather it down into the blue. So you get this soft transition of the dark sky getting a little bit lighter as it goes down. I'm not going to go all the way down through my blue. I just want to do about half, a little over half, bring that black down into to suggest a night sky. Now I will go in and I will wash that off of my brush. I'm going to let y'all catch up, those that are working with me. I'm going to go ahead and keep freshening this blue with a little more blue to keep it wet. Okay. Yep, Javier, yes, perfect. You're going to bring that black down. All right. I'm just waiting for people to catch up to where I'm at. So you've got the blue with the black feathered down into it, but not all the way down. Because now I'm going to pick up white and I'm going to go right through this, right at the bottom of where I ended off with that. And I'm going to feather that up into the blue. You can see me doing it right here. And I'm going to also do the sides. So I'm going to just lightly get that soft transition into that sky up there, the dark sky. Because remember, the sun is going down, it's reflecting up into the atmosphere. I'm going to take this and I'm going to knock it off. And I'm going to go with a more white. I did not clean my brush. So now I'm going to go down here, not touching the blue. I'm just going down in here. And I'm going to just walk that back up, doing my sides as well. And softly bring that into that lighter blue. And at this point, I would let that be a little cloudy looking. See what I mean by that? How it's almost a cloud effect. Javier, you want to see that like that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Don't brush that out too much. Let that look like clouds. Now I will wash my brush. And remember, if I am a little too fast, it's only because this is kind of a wet on wet technique for the background. You can always continue to watch and do it later as a replay. That way you see the whole process going, and then when you go to do it yourself, you'll already have an idea where we're going. My poor friend here is trying to keep up with me in real time.
We're having such a good time.
So now I've got this white strip in there, gently blending that into, again, the layer above. Letting that soften. Okay, now we're going to, oh, they look like lovely clouds. All right, now I'm going to take just, I'm going to show you this really close. See that? Tiny. See that? Tiny bit of red. Really tiny. In fact, I'm going to knock that off here, and I'm going to pick up some more white, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a softer, just make a softer red there. Pink. I'm going to go ahead and knock that off my brush. And by the way, these quarter pieces are perfect. Just take off the top when you need to. Now, that's still wet, so I'm going to start working in. You'll catch up. I don't think it's been, what, 2.5 years since our friend has been here to visit us, and I don't think he's painted since then. Is that right?
You
since
got that
you've
right.
been here,
you got that right, and I'm trying to catch up.
A little overwhelmed right now.
I can see that I need more practice.
So now, if some of that pink goes up into the blue, what are we going to get? Purple. And no big deal. Actually, what a benefit, right? So if that goes up into that blue-white, you're going to get a little bit of purple, and that's perfect. Now, I'm going to go get just the ever so slightly of a titch of red on there. And I'm going to work that into this area here. And soften that. And all this is being done with that 1 inch or 3/4 inch brush. I'm trying to kind of keep up with my sides so I get that darker color. Now I'm going to go into my yellow. And if I don't have enough red in there to make a nice orange, so just by mixing these colors, we should get an orange, but if I need to help that, I have it on my palette. So I can just go ahead and blend that orange up into that hot pink. You miss this at all, Javier?
Of course, I can tell. Of course.
All right.
Especially because I recall that you used to mention that we as a man we would like to be so symmetrical.
Yeah.
And I can tell.
You're having trouble with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I'm going to go in here and just dab in a little bit more red. I need a little bit more drama here. And if it doesn't want to move, you can always dip a little into water to help it move. Now the problem with getting yellow up into the blue is what? Student? What happens when you get the yellow into the blue?
Yellow, which is a lighter color, into the blue, which is
green.
You will get more like a green.
Green, and you kind of want to not get that. You know, there's that old saying, and I'm probably going to say it wrong. Say, green sky at night? No, I don't know. I shouldn't even have brought it up. There's something about this color in the sky. Anyway, so I'm going to finish off something about one sky at night, sailor delight, certain color in the morning, sailors take warning. Somehow I thought green was in there, but I don't like a green sky.
You know what? I noticed that you're pretty good about mixing the horizon. It really makes it really the look.
Well, thank you. I've had a lot of practice.
I know.
So,
now
anyway.
Look at mine, and it really looks like a...
Now this one, if you look at my original one, and I probably painted this, wow, 6 years ago. This is way more vivid than this one is. But that's going to be everybody's personal preference, you know, is how that's going to turn out. And I'm okay with this. I know my painting style has changed through the years, and I think that's a good thing. When I was painting these, they were in the big studio and lots of people painting, and I'd have to stop and go and help someone. Well, then part of it would dry, so I was kind of working a little against myself.
Yeah.
But now here, doing it like this, I'm able to just talk everybody through it. Oh, I'm liking it. Okay. All right. That's going to dry. So now I'm going to let my friend here catch up.
No, please, by all means.
No, because it has to dry.
Okay.
Yes, so we're going to take a drying time, and that won't take long. You can either do this, or you can go over and take a hair dryer. So take just maybe 3 minutes to let these dry and let people catch up. And once it's feathered out like this, it doesn't take very long to dry. All right. And while this is drying, I'm going to grab a couple props here. Apparently. Okay. While these things are drying, I'm gonna prep a couple, 4 actually, Q-tips together. So I'm gonna put them like this, group them together. I'm going to take a piece of painter's tape or scotch tape or rubber band. Actually, I would have used a rubber band, but no, I got it. I just, thank you though. Appreciate it. I'm going to get these all. I want them all the same, so when they touch, they're the same. This one's for you. I forgot to turn off my ringer. Well, so my original my original painting here, as you can see, is a bare tree. more like a fall, possibly a winter. And I'm thinking on this one, I want it to be more spring. So this little thing, and if you've seen it, I did a little live tip video about how to put a little bit of foliage on using Q-tips. So we'll use that later. If you want it like this, feel free. It's your painting, you get to do what you want. All right, so now you have, I think, a 1/2 inch or something like that. We're going to take, now you could, if you wanted to, you could take a pencil and you could kind of decide, okay, I want over here, let's see, I'm going to have it kind of flat here, maybe a hill. I'm going to have a mountain here, not a mountain, but a hill, sometime with a peak. You come back down, maybe another one over here, like that. And then in here, I'm going to do some trees. And these will just be some, like South Dakota's hill type area. So I'm going to take this 1/2 inch brush, put it in my black, and I'm just going to go ahead and outline this, because remember, it's going to look like a silhouette with the bright, bright sunset behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here. I'm making a kind of, I want it to be a bit more jagged so it looks like it's a rock or a hill in the distance. So right now what we're doing now is we're building in depth, right? These are far away. That's what helps.
3 sides.
Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and go down the side. And we'll fill that all in with black. If you have questions, I am not monitoring my comments.
No, nothing has been
Okay. And so you could ask later when this is as a replay, and I can answer something that you might need to know, if I can help you with that. I expect that most people that want to do this will probably view it, and then they'll do it where they can pause it and do it on their own time. When we do a paid online class, we are hooked up through Google Classroom or Zoom, or sometimes Facebook Live, and then I'm seeing your comments as we go along. We can discuss stuff, we can stop, I can ask everybody, are you ready to move on? This is rather an informal freebie, let's paint together. Okay, there's my background. Now I am going to, for the sake of time, go over and dry this because I have a bit of explanation with the tree. So I'll be right back.
So in the meantime, as you always said, takes a little bit of um, takes a little bit of effort to just picture the mountains when you see them all the time and just bring it onto the paint, right?
And you can always Google a picture of sunsets and take from, you don't want to copy, but you can take a little from this painting and a little from this one, kind of, we call it Frankensteining it, so it's that picture, but it's got enough differences that it's your own. Yeah. Or your own pictures from vacations, if you've got them. All right. So this is dry. What I want to talk, this is when I had the brick and mortar building. This was always a bit difficult for some people until I made a very simple explanation. And I always wanted to say, now, don't think I think anybody's stupid when I say people have a hard time with trees. We see trees all day long, every day, every year, our whole lifetime. We see trees all the time, but it's a different skill to take what we see and transfer it to a flat piece of something.
Trust me, you've seen it. Yeah, you'll feel it.
So, well, all I want to just remind everyone is, excuse me, as the tree is closer to the ground, it's thicker. Every time it branches apart, it gets thinner. So that's what I mean right here. So I believe before I cut these off the frames for storage, I may have had the full trunk over here. But I'm going to go ahead and do it like this, like as if we were looking out of a window at a scene and we were blocked by the window casing here, and you would only see part of the tree. That's exactly how our vision is. So when we come out from the side, I will not be drawing all this tree. All I'm going to do is do a path. So my branch will be coming out. I'll move it over here just in case I'm in. How am I in the frame? Okay, let me look at it. I'm just going to check people. Okay. Just making sure I'm in the frame. All right. So I'm going to have a branch that's going to come out like this. So I'm just going to make a path with my pencil, and it's going to go up. Now I can see the reflection of the graphite on that black. I know that I need to have a branch that's coming here for my owlets to be on. Okay, so I've got two main branches, and I'm going to have another one from that tree over here. So really all I've done is I've put in, and I'm going to do it harder so you guys hopefully can see it better. Normally I would not put a hard line in, but let's see. I can do this better. I can take it up here. Here's my lines coming here. Here's I'm just going over those darker areas with this. Okay, so I've got that. I don't have to put in every single one. I'm just putting in a couple that I want. And so I know over here I'm probably going to go down a little bit with one. But I'm going to have my mama and a baby here, maybe one here, maybe one here. I don't know, somewhere. So, and I've got 3 baby owlets on this one, but you can have just 1, 2, 3, whatever. It's your painting. So, I am going to, I think I'm going to go ahead and come down here with one. Get it closer down into that pink part. So here's my plan. This is going to be thicker. Every time I split, it gets thinner. A split here, thinner. Splits here, thinner. Okay? And I know y'all know that. It's just that very, very, very many people make cactuses instead of trees because they don't think about that. When you say something to them, they go, oh yeah, that's right. People know that. It's just... when you're painting, you know, you're thinking about the painting. So, okay, I am going to take my 1/2 inch. I'm going to not put it in water. Oh, basically I am, but not the end. I'm going to take, I'll show you here, the end of my brush, and I'm going to dip it, maybe 4 drops of water into my black, because I want this more like ink rather than paint that's plopped up like you see these here. I want it more like this. Rinse that off. I don't want it dripping onto my painting. And I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to go back and forth so that I get this chiseled. See how fine that gets to be? It's wide, but when you're using it like this, you get a nice chiseled edge. And I'm going to start out over here, and I'm going to go up, and I will probably adjusting that. Now, all right, see what I'm talking about here? We've got a split. So if my branch is this big here, once it splits, it's not going to be as wide. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to follow my pattern and right off. Follow this. That one got a little wider than I wanted. Remember I said we'd have to adjust? That means if that one got that wide, this one can stay as it is. This means this has to get wider. So I can come back and correct. Actually, good thing that happened, because if that happens to you, you'll know what to do. I just have to go back now and widen the part that it's coming from, so it makes sense. Okay, once I get my main, like I'll stop here with this because I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. So I'm going to stop right there on this one. Okay, now, well, this is going to, all right, let's do this one first. Yeah, no, I guess I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put the black in. It's still going to show on that other black because that was mixed with blue. But we're going to fix that so you can see it better. So that's coming out of there. I'm going to chisel that edge again before I start this one. And that's going to go. I'm going to let that be like that. All right. So I've got these bigger branches in with my large brush. Here, let me show it this way.
No, show it to the camera because it's a little to the left or to the right. No. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Flip your phone so it comes. No. So it comes horizontal. There.
Horizontal.
And I think you'll see it better. Did it flip for you? Yeah. Okay. All right. My friend is sitting opposite me, so what he's seeing is everything I'm doing upside down, so he does have his phone as well. It's like it's going to be one big confusion. All right, I'm switching to this small little detail brush, and I'm going to finish out my branches with that. But I will be adding gray to the ones that are way up at the top where they're so dark. Now for me, I have always done my trees where I'm working to me, so I will flip these and work on them upside down. And to give this some reality, I will cross over branches. This one's going to split. This one's going to have a split to it. at our studio, we always painted the 16 by 20 because that was the industry standard at the time. I have found that most people enjoy a smaller size purely for where am I going to hang this sucker? So they're so big. So and as they get smaller, you can get pretty crookedy with these things, you know. Just kind of let your hand lift as you're going out to nothingness. And I think I'm going to go up here with one. Okay, so I've got my tree in here. Now I've got black in my brush. I'm going to grab some white and I'm going to make a medium gray here. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with that flat brush. I'm going to go back and forth, side to side, to get a wedge. Even on a round, I can get that nice sharp wedge. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to highlight the bottom of the branches that are in the dark. When I say bottom, I guess it would be safer to say the part of the branch that is facing the sunset. Because your light isn't going to be coming from the top, your light's coming from below. Make sense? I don't want to cover up the black. I just want to make a gray highlight on the side of the tree. Now I won't do that down here where they're into the brightness of the sunset. I'm just doing it to the side of the branch that is facing that sunset. Okay, and you see how that popped it out? There you go. And now that comes in, it's reflecting that sunset. I'm going to let people catch up because we're going to have to work on our owlets, and then we're going to come down and work on our foreground. So we've got a mid-range, a back range, right? And we've got the mid-range. And we really don't, on this painting, have a foreground, really. This would be more like maybe standing on another ledge somewhere looking out over, rather than in a field where you have grass and bushes and stuff in the front. I was trying to remember what my, what do I want to call it? What I used when I painted this 6 or 7 years ago. While that's drying, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Remember I said that this one is a bare tree. That could be a dead tree. It could be a tree and after the leaves fell off, whatever. But I thought on this one I might go ahead and try to have a little bit of foliage. So I'm right now, you can see, I'm kind of dipping this in a dark gray. I'm going to try this. I hope I like it. So I'm going to go on here and I'm just going to see how that you just turn this around. Ew, look, Javier. Because I never did this on this painting before. There. So when you use the Q-tips, you just load it and then gently. I'm not going to put a ton on, just a suggestion that, oh, this tree almost looks like blossoms, doesn't it? Cool, 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 cool. Like it. So feel free to do that. or do it as the prototype looks. I'm not going to do a lot. What do you think, Javier?
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's
Looks really realistic.
you like that on there? Cool.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have someone around when you're painting to get an opinion.
Especially when you're coming from someone who looks like his paint looks like a kindergarten.
You're not going to show yours at the end?
No. Mine resembles totally when I was in kindergarten,
No.
so that means that my paint skills
You
hasn't
were
developed that well.
You just haven't painted for a while. You know,
Exactly.
you have to get
that's
yeah,
exactly
like
how
riding
I
a
feel.
bike. It'll come back. Kind of reminds me of a spring tree, doesn't it? Like just when the leaves are coming out, it's not real full yet. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think I am. Yep. Okay, so that's that cute little trick. I saw some other guy doing this. I don't remember who, but he said, share it, and I have. You can really use them over again. I mean, if this dries up all real hard, you got the other end, so I wouldn't throw it away. I just set it and leave it. Okay, now we're going to talk about owlets. And I get a little napkin here that I'm going to use as an example. So, owls. Let's figure out our first owl. The way I like to tell people is a short, fat bowling pin. So you're going to have the top. Now, bowling pin would go in, right, like this. I'm not the best bowling pin drawer, but let's say that, the smaller head. So basically, you would make that bowling pin and make it be a shorter version of it, like this, and then fill in, so it still has a bit of narrowing by the neck, but not much, and make it like that. And then it's going to have the little ears on the end. Little, I just put a cat ear on there, a tiny little ear. So I'm going to go to, you may draw it on if you would like. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put Mama here. So she's like a short, actually, another image for it, a pear. A nice little pear.
That I used to paint my couple owls.
Yeah. And then I make a tail that drops down. I'm going to go ahead and make this dark so you guys can see it. Draw a pear on the branch and then give it a tail, a little V at the bottom. Yeah. And then your baby one will be the same thing. A little fat pear with a little tail drop. And those ears really, I'm going to give you a suggestion. It's going to be, unless you have a real detail brush to hand use, you can wait for this to dry and take a black permanent marker and put your ears on. How about that, guys? I mean, it's a cheat, but it works. Because you've got to have a tiny little brush for that. So I've got one owlet next to Mom. And then, let's see, we're going to have a little defiant one. He'll be up here. Let's put him over here. You're not going to see his tail because that's a bigger branch that he's sitting on. And you know what? I'm going to leave it at 2. So I'm going to make sure my black is like ink, a fluid color, not drippy. It won't run yet, see? But it's pretty thin, but not running thin. So I'm going to go ahead on here and I'm going to put my first owlet in. Here's one owlet. Here's Mom. Mom never lost her girlish figure.
Right?
Okay. And then her little junior here. Remember, they have kind of big heads, little bit squarey heads. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put mine in with my black, but I'm going and doing that back and forth, getting a sharp little edge to that. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a little ear, tiny little ear. You don't have much of one, guys. But we don't want to look like we got pears sitting in our tree, right? Oh, look. It's a cute painting. I always like this one. Okay. I'm going to let...
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Don't
No,
stop.
no, no,
You're
no,
not
no,
close?
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
I'm catching up.
All right. What I'm going to do now, if you can see on the original here, there is some reflection on our rocks. So it's not just plain black, and we've got some little trees suggestion. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So first I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what we did before. Chisel your 1/2 inch back and forth till you get it the other side. So I got that sharp look again. And I'm going to go ahead over here and I'm going to make some pines. Just going to go ahead and I'm going to go up so far on that. And now I'm just going to take the edge and go like this. Back and forth. Can be messy, probably should be messy.
Mess is always good.
Yep.
When it comes about painting.
Yep. Well, it's far away, so it isn't going to be, it's going to look more jumbled because it's in the distance. So I'm just going back and forth, getting bigger as I get to the bottom. Like a pine tree does. Wider and wider as I go down. So there I've got some pines in the background. Oh, look at you did. You always do it different. I love that. Let me show it really quick.
No.
Oh, come on. They don't know they don't see your face. They're never going to go.
People out there that know me.
Stop. Yeah, but I didn't say who you were. All right. He's doing a pretty blossom spring. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, look what I did. I almost did I went into the red. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Okay, going back to my black. No, it looks good.
Coming from you, I'm going to take it as a compliment. So I'm going to work on my owls.
All right. So I made some more here. I'm going to go back and forth with my... Oh, I like that. I do like that. So I have my trees in the background there. What I want to do now is I'm going to take my black like this. So I went in here. I've gotten both sides. On one side, I'm going to pick up white. I'm going to take that. I'm going to go keeping the white on one side, not the other side, so I get it soft. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that white edge and go up one side of this top. I'm going to go down this side. Just kind of where it shows the contour of the land. And I can do that down here as well. I can make some bumps. Just to give it a little interest at the bottom. I don't think Javier is going to let you see his finished piece because he's a very detailed person. I'll shut off my video and he'll keep going for another half hour, but that's okay with me. So, and he can go back on and catch this stuff up when he's ready. That's the neat part of video online, which I myself am getting used to doing. So, here I am. I'm the messiest painter you'll ever know. This is called the Owlet Sunset. We got our little owls on there. I did put, looks like I got some red paint on there. I did put a little foliage on those, the tree that I didn't do on the original one. And it's kind of a fun. Kind of a fun painting to play around with the sunset and those different colors. This one's very pink compared to this one. This one was very painterly. A lot of brush strokes that you can see, and that's desired by some people. This one is much more blended. I do tell you I have a tendency to do this kind of painting. I'm kind of a tight painter. I work at myself to do this. I have to go, okay, stop, leave it alone. So, anyway, if you were able to paint along with me this morning, I hope you had a good time. If you get to see this later and decide to paint it, I would ask you, please comment and show me your picture. Post your picture underneath this little video with your comments, and let me see what you did. And I promise you, Javier will take a picture of his and he'll post it. Yes.
It's
right?
been such an enjoyable experience. I missed to do that. Thank you guys for sharing us.
All right. Now I'm going to try to get this